Hello, family, friends, and fellow movie lovers. Jeffrey Michael here. And welcome to a Starlight Starbright edition of Jeffrey Michael's Movie Reviews Extravaganza. I'm so excited. I'm about to review one of my favorite movies of all of 2018. Yep, that's right. So let's not waste any more time. In this video, I'll be reviewing the movies that released on October the 5th, 2018. Okay, the first movie that I'll review for you is Venom, rated PG-13. It stars Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams, and Riz Ahmed, and was directed by Ruben Fleischer, who brought you such films like Zombieland, 30 Minutes or Less, and Gangster Squad. Now, Venom is based on the Marvel comic book character of the same name. In fact, it made its first full appearance in The Amazing Spider-Man number 300 in 1988. That's how long it's been around. And for those of you who don't know, Venom was a black alien sentient being, basically a bunch of goo, that latched itself onto a human host to survive, and then, was able to share its powers with that human. It first latched onto Spider-Man, taking his appearance, that Spider-Man appearance, and then it latched itself onto investigative journalist Eddie Brock and became Venom. It looked like Spider-Man, but it had rows of razor-sharp teeth and was all black, and he had a very long, disgusting tongue. And Venom was first adapted as a character in the 2007 film Spider-Man 3. For those of you who don't remember, and you probably do, unfortunately, that version of Venom was universally detested by fans and critics alike. I mean, it was too small, and the CGI wasn't that great, and the character of Eddie Brock is supposed to be this huge hulking guy, but instead, in that movie, he was played by Topher Grace, aka Eric from that '70s show. I mean, that was just not a great adaptation of the character. And so Marvel decided that, in years in development, we're going to make a standalone film that's all about Venom, and this time we're going to get the character right. So in this new Venom film, the main character of Eddie Brock is played by the hulking Tom Hardy. That was a good choice, Marvel, really. And this version of Eddie Brock is a reporter slash investigative journalist living in San Francisco with his fiancée, the attorney Anne Weying, played by the beautiful Michelle Williams. And all life is good for both of them. And then we're introduced to the bioengineering corporation, the Life Foundation, and its CEO, Carlton Drake, played with wicked glee by Riz Ahmed. You see, Life Foundation is always exploring new, ways of life for humanity. And the movie starts off, they've launched a spaceship into space, and on a comet, they discover 4 symbiotic life forms, and they retrieve them. But as the spaceship is coming back to Earth, one of those symbiotic beings manages to cause the ship to crash, and then that one escapes. But then the other 3 are managed to be secured by the Life Foundation, and they're taken to a laboratory in San Francisco. And it's there that we realize that these symbiotic beings are dying. They need human hosts to survive, oxygen-breathing organism. And so then, Carlton Drake decides to start human trials, which he, puts in, guinea pigs, if you will, these humans, to see if they can bond with these symbiotic beings. But just like organ, donor rejections, these symbiotic beings reject these humans, killing them. And so Eddie Brock finds out that his girlfriend, or fiancée, Anne, who's an attorney, is running a defense strategy for the Life Foundation. And in a classified document, he finds out about these human trials, and he's aghast. He confronts them. How dare you? This is disgusting and, barbaric. And unfortunately, that causes him to lose his job by going over bounds. And because, they found out the classified document that he wasn't supposed to be unclassified, Anne loses her job too, and she's furious. How dare you? You've ruined everything, both of us, behind my back. And so she breaks up with him. It's all sad. And months go by. He's living on his own in a dumpster apartment. And he's determined to, expose Carlton Drake once and for all. And so with the help of a rogue scientist at the lab, he manages to sneak in. And it's there that one of the symbiotic beings sees him, and it's a bunch of black goo, but it's determined to get to him, and it does. And it latches onto him. And at one point, he wakes up in his apartment, not knowing how he got back there. And it's not long before he starts hearing this really demonic voice in his ear. And he's like, what, who's speaking? Who's there? And of course, we, the audience, know what's going on. And it's not long before this thing that's talking in his head, finally exposes itself. The black goo comes out and he sees the alien face at the end of it. What are you? I am Venom. That's what it calls itself. And he finds out that this thing, is pretty bad. It needs human flesh to survive. And he's like, no, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm afraid you don't have a choice. You're bound to me. I live, you live. I die, you die. Got it? And throughout the movie, he's got to learn how to work together with this thing because it's now a part of him. And throughout the movie, he gets help from other people, including his girlfriend, who's literally freaked out by his ex, what is freaked out by what's going on. And they got to work together because that one rogue symbiotic being that escaped in the beginning of the movie has managed to make its way back, and they find out that it's a former friend of this Venom, and it wants it to enslave humanity. And Venom's all, no, I don't think that's a good idea. I'll help you, to stop this other symbiotic being. And that's where the rest of the plot goes, stopping, this other one from wreaking worldwide havoc. Now for my review, I want to say this was a great film. Unfortunately, I would say it was good to an extent, and here's why. Let's start with the positive. The best part of the movie is Tom Hardy. I think he was like the perfect choice to play Eddie Brock, the hulking reporter guy who's also nebbish and who's a kind of adult at times, but he's also shows off his brave side at times. And I think he was just better suited, and he gives such a great performance that he pretty much helps carry the film because it slags a lot, this movie. Unfortunately, most of the time it's just jumping from one plot point to the other, and along the way, they sacrifice story and character development along the way, and also the tone is, at times it's very demonic, and dark, and other times it's pretty goofy, like over the top, like kind of like slapstick kind of. And that clashing tone creates some problems, and because I feel like this is a movie that would have benefited from an R rating, kind of like a Wolverine movie, because with PG-13 you're limited, without any language or extreme violence. I feel like Venom, such a dark character, it deserved a dark rating to just follow suit. I don't know. I mean, it's a good movie. It's just not one of the best. I mean, it's also really short. It's only, without credits, only like an hour and 35 minutes. It's like, wow. Like they could have had more runtime to pad out like the story, like I said, and character development and more meat to the story. I just feel like it's over and done, beginning and done with in like no time flat. And overall, I would give this movie a C+. Like it's better than average, but it's not all that great. I mean, it hints that at the end of the credits that a sequel is coming, a Venom 2, and I really hope if they do make a sequel that this one is much better and like has a consistent tone and more development and just an overall better movie. I hope they do that. But if you're gonna go see this movie, you can. I mean, it's a good anti-hero superhero movie, but it's not one of the best. I mean, if you're a Tom Hardy fan, then you should definitely see this movie because, like I said, he's one of the best parts of the movie. And so if you like Tom Hardy and you like superhero movies, go and see it. If you're not interested, that's okay. You don't have to. I mean, you can always wait for the probably much better sequel. And so that's it. Moving on. All right, the last movie that I'll review for you is, in my opinion, one of the best movies of 2018 so far. And that movie is A Star is Born, rated R. It stars the wonderful duo of Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, and was also the directorial debut of Bradley Cooper as well. He's a director now, isn't that amazing? So A Star is Born has a bit of cinematic history behind it. It is a remake of a remake of a remake of a remake. Yeah. It all started with the 1932 film What Price Hollywood? It was then loosely remade into the 1937 film A Star is Born starring Janet Gaynor. And then it was remade into the 1954 musical starring Judy Garland. Oh, Judy. And then it was remade into the 1976 rock musical starring Barbra Streisand, that is. And finally, it was remade once again into the 2018 film A Star is Born, starring Lady Gaga. Oh, Gaga, I love you. Unfortunately, I never got a chance to see any of the other original A Star is Borns. I probably should, being the cinephile that I am, one day. And to be honest, I actually like that every generation gets to have their own version of A Star is Born. That's really nice. And I wouldn't be surprised if years from now they remade it once again, a version of A Star is Born. And to be honest with you guys, if it's as good as this one that I'm about to review for you, then I cannot wait to see that version then. So this iteration of A Star is Born is set in modern times. Right away, we're introduced via concert to our main character, the famous country singer Jackson Maine, played with the gruff voice by Bradley Cooper. And he's performing to a sold-out crowd in an outdoor festival, not too different from Coachella or Burning Man. And who knew Bradley Cooper could sing? Did you? I didn't. And it doesn't take long for us, the audience, to realize that Jackson's got a few demons. A drinking problem and drugs. And so after the concert, he tells his driver to stop over at a bar. And the barman's like, I don't think this is your kind of bar, Mr. Jackson Maine. Does it have alcohol? Yes, it's my kind of bar then. Turns out that kind of bar is a drag bar. I'm pretty sure it's one of the many ways that they update this movie, from into modern times. Because I don't think there were too many drag bars in the original Stars Borns. I didn't know, I didn't see them. And it turns out in this drag bar is where Jackson Maine and us, the audience, are first introduced to Allie, played by the multi-talented Lady Gaga. And turns out Allie is struggling to make it in the recording world. You see, she works most of the time as a caterer/waiter in a famous restaurant. But on the weekends, she is the only girl who performs at this drag bar. And in her opening number, she performs a French song in perfect French. And Jackson, just like us, the audience, is entranced. In fact, afterward, he asks her out for a drink. Jackson Maine, wow, you want to have a drink with me? Yeah, why not? And so they talk, they meet. It's a meet cute. Boy meets girl. Boy loves girl. Boy wants to meet girl. That kind of story. Because it's a romance at heart, this movie. And throughout the first part of the movie, like first 20 or 30 minutes, they spend on this one night where they go to a bar, they talk about each other's lives and how she's, we find out that Allie's been struggling. She's gone to many record producers, but they all say the same thing. They like her sound, but they do not like her face. She's not a conventional beauty, and they hate her nose. Really? I think your nose is beautiful. Come on. I do. And so at one point, a heckler is at the bar trying to get Jackson Maine, and then she punches him and hurts her hand. They go to a grocery store, and he gets her frozen peas to wrap on her hand, and they sit out in the parking lot, and she sings to him. And just the first 20, 30 minutes, they get to know each other. I like how the movie gives us a chance for them to bond over one night. And after the one night, they feel like we just met each other, and yet I feel like I've known you my whole life. Ditto. And so she leaves the next morning and says, hey, come to my next show with me. Oh, I don't know. Come on. Okay. Hey, what? Just want to see your face one last time. Anyone who saw the movie would know what that means. And so, she agrees to go to his next show. He says, come on, get on stage with me. No, I can't. Come on. What have you got to lose? You'll never know if you don't try. And so she, after finally dares herself, she's emboldened by him, and she performs like Lady Gaga style on stage perfectly, and she sings her own songs, and all of a sudden people are now recognizing, who is this girl? Allie, and slowly but surely the months go by, their relationship develops, and she goes on tour with him, and she sings, and people are now starting to recognize her, and she eventually gets to perform at SNL. That's a big one. And she gets, a record producer wants to sign a contract with her, changing her style from country to pop, and Jackson's all, I don't think you should, really be careful and make sure you stay who you are, and he's worried for her path as her career, and he's, really trying to help make her a star and make sure she stays her, and all the while they're still falling in love, and he's battling his demons, with drinking and drugs, and it's causing a real turmoil. We all knew that was going to happen eventually. And, marriage comes, and, she's nominated for awards, and she gets a record, and all is going great, and then, tragedy strikes, and then comes the final climax, which is all so sad. I'm not going to reveal to you, but you all got to go see the movie to find out. It just tugs at your heartstrings and rips them apart like cheap twine. That's how bad it gets. Overall, this version of A Star is Born, like I already said, is one of the best movies of 2018 so far. And here's why. First of all, this movie, it was romantic. It just fills your heart with joy and also crushes it like a grape. It's so sad. And it's also well acted and beautifully directed, and it's hard hitting, and it's also realistic. Like, it's amazing how real they made it feel. And also, let's start with the acting. I mean, Bradley Cooper did such a great job in the role. I mean, with that gruff voice, it was a good choice. And also, just from his face, you see like his inner turmoil, his inner demons that he has to battle. But you also see like his soft side, his soft, squishy, romantic side when he courts Allie throughout the movie. He did a great job in that part. And Lady Gaga, oh my God, she was just a revelation in this movie. I mean, you are worried at first because you think, uh-oh, because she hasn't had that much acting experience. She's known more as a singer. But she manages to create this wonderful character out of Allie. I mean, if you knew Gaga in real life, even when she was starting off her career, she had a lot of confidence. She had, I can do this kind of can-do kind of attitude. But Allie, though, is so much different. She's a very vulnerable girl, and she has low self-esteem, and she has so much self-doubt. She doesn't know if she can do it at all, and she doesn't think she's beautiful until Jackson tells her, "Yes, you are." She gains that confidence slowly but surely, and you see that in her face and her determination throughout the movie. And there's a couple of scenes where both Bradley and Lady Gaga have to spar with each other, and they get really emotional, and she just lets it all out, and you totally believe it because it's just so realistic the way it's done. And so both of them are such revelations when it comes to their. I think this might be the best performance from either of them ever. And I hope they get recognized come awards season, and I think it was that good. And as for the direction, Bradley Cooper, his debut as a director, you worry that, is it going to be flawed? Is it going to be, look like an amateur did it? But it was so well done. I mean, my gosh, he has such a deft direction, really good natural ability. I mean, he lingers on each scene and gives each of the acting and the scene a chance to develop, let it linger on for a bit. I mean, most directors probably do a lot of cutting, a lot of heavy editing, but he lets each scene just, draw out and allow it time to grow and to develop. And, that's one of actually a minor quibble. I mean, the movie's a little long. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes. And probably most of you will probably say that, that probably could have been 2 hours or maybe a little less long. It didn't need to be that long, but in a sense, it was also good because you allow each scene to, draw it out, not too many edits and cuts and slow paced. It allows it to, curate the role. The story just unfolds naturally that way. And so that's just a minor, quibble. I mean, I think overall it was actually beneficial to be as long as it was than it was a detriment to the movie. And the cinematography was great, and the set direction, and all the original musical performances. I mean, there's a lot of original songs they sing in this movie, and of course, Gaga just nails every performance. I mean, come on, she can do no wrong when it comes to singing, can she? She's a marvel. And Bradley Cooper is just as good as Jackson Maine. You really believe he's this famous country singer who's also, going through these hard times and, drunken moments. So there's like. And the romantic angle of the story, I mean, he did something next to impossible, Bradley Cooper. He made a romance movie that's both very realistic and also fairy tale magical at the same time. I mean, that is not easy to pull off, and that's exactly what I felt watching this romance throughout the movie. It's magical and real at the same time. I mean, that's the perfect kind of romance movie, in my opinion. And overall, this movie, I would give it an A minus. Aside from a few like minor quibbles, like I said, running length, and it's a little slow paced in the middle. It's a near perfect movie, and I haven't seen the other Star is Born movies, but I'll go ahead and say this is probably the best version of A Star is Born. I probably have to go and see the originals first before I make such an outrageous claim, but but yeah, I mean, like I said, this is one of the best movies I've seen all year, and if they make another one years from now, then I hope to see that one, if it's as good as this version. And would I recommend that you all go see it? Hell yes. If you're only going to see one movie in all of 2018, then let it be this one. You won't regret it. I mean, it's got everything you want in a movie. It's romantic, it's got great acting, great directing, cinematography, great original songs, and it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, it'll fill your heart with joy and also rip it apart. I mean, it gives you the full gamut of emotions, this movie. And I really hope it gets recognized come Oscar season, and it probably will. It better. And to think, oh, this movie almost never happened. I mean, years ago when they were first developing this remake, originally Clint Eastwood was going to direct and Beyonce was going to star. I mean, ugh. She's a great singer, Beyonce, but acting, I'm so glad that this version ended up happening because Bradley Cooper got to show his directing chops for the first time, and Lady Gaga got to show everybody just how perfect a human being she is. And so yeah, A minus. Everybody, please, and everyone and their mother, go and see this movie now, please. You will not regret it. Again, I reiterate that. I mean, this is a movie that'll just fill you up your heart and make a star be reborn again in the night sky, as cheesy as that sounds. Anyway, moving on. I'm off the deep end, giving a recap. Recap, everyone. Venom, C+. Despite Tom Hardy being the best part as main character Eddie Brock, the film is short, tonally inconsistent, and lacks proper story and character development. If you're a Tom Hardy fan or a Marvel fan, then go see it. Otherwise, maybe not. And finally, A Star is Born, A minus, a wonderful remake of four classic movies that's filled with romance, original musical numbers, a magnificent directing debut by Bradley Cooper, and a career-defining performance by Lady Gaga. One of the best films of 2018 so far. I'll say it a third time. Everybody and their mother, please go see this one. You won't regret it. And that'll do it for a Starlight Starbright edition of Jeffrey Michaels Movie Reviews Extravaganza. Until next time, happy movie watching, everybody. Now quit stalling. Everybody go see A Star is Born right now.